A Portuguese treasure ship, buried for 500 years, was found by miners looking for diamonds. Its cargo was gold, coins struck for a voyage that never reached its destination. In Egypt, 14 ancient boats were found buried far from any water, older than the pyramids. In Norway, a Viking ship lay beneath a potato field for 1,000 years. How did ships end up in deserts, under farms, and beneath our cities? The answers change everything. These questions have answers, and they are more incredible than the discoveries themselves. Keep watching. This is the last place you would expect to find a Portuguese treasure ship, 500 years lost and buried under sand. This single coin was part of a cargo of 2,000 gold pieces, lost when the ship ran aground centuries ago. The ship's wooden ribs still rise from the sand, a ghost of the sea stranded in a desert that was once underwater. Copper ingots were part of the cargo, intended for trade, but they never reached their destination.
Miners cut through these layers, never expecting to find an ocean-going ship buried 40 meters below the surface.
The sea once reached this far inland, and the ship was lost on a shoreline that no longer exists. The keel that once cut through the Atlantic waves now rests in silence. Its journey ended in a place no sailor could have imagined. Over centuries, wind and sand buried the ship layer by layer, hiding it from the world until miners cut through. For every ship that has been found, how many others still lie hidden beneath the sand, waiting for a chance to be discovered? So the impossible question is not only how this ship got here, but what else the earth has swallowed, and what it will give back next.
The ship was called the Bom Jesus, a Portuguese trading vessel that vanished in the year 1533, sailing from Lisbon toward India.
Bronze cannons once lined its decks, ready to defend against pirates and privateers on the long voyage around Africa. Inside the hull, the cargo hold still preserves the shape of the ship's final voyage, frozen beneath the sand for 5 centuries. The chest held gold coins, struck with the cross of the Portuguese crown, part of a fortune intended for trade in the East. Once a proud ocean-going vessel, the Bom Jesus now rests in a sea of sand, its masts and sails long since gone. Each coin is a small, heavy relic, carrying the stamp of a king and the memory of a voyage that never ended. Navigational instruments found among the wreckage recall the skill and risk of 16th century ocean travel.
At sunset, the wreck casts a shadow that looks like a ship still sailing across the sand.
The wood still holds salt from the sea and sand from the desert, a record of both worlds in its grain. 5 centuries ago, the ocean reached this place, and the Bom Jesus died within sight of a shore that no longer exists. At Abydos, one of Egypt's oldest sacred cities, 14 ancient boats lie buried in the desert, far from any water. The boats were built from thick cedar planks, stitched and pegged together without a single metal nail, a technology older than Egypt itself. Each boat rests in its own brick-lined pit, arranged in a row like a fleet at anchor, though the nearest water is miles away. The hulls are massive, some over 20 meters long, built for river travel and perhaps for the journey of the soul after death. Ropes and resin still cling to the seams, preserving the ancient technique that held the hull together on the Nile. These boats once moved on the Nile, carrying kings and offerings, before being buried in the sacred desert of Abydos. The Nile's ancient channel once flowed closer to Abydos, linking the boats to the sacred river, before the water shifted eastward over time. Small clay ceilings found near the boats carry the name of Pharaoh Khasehemwi, linking the fleet to Egypt's second dynasty. Over centuries, the desert slowly covered the boats, hiding them beneath a smooth layer of sand until their rediscovery. The Abydos Boats remain one of archaeology's great puzzles, a fleet buried for eternity, far from the water it once sailed.
The Aral Sea was once one of the largest inland seas on Earth. Today, its bed is a desert, and its ships lie like stranded bones.
The propeller is frozen in mud. its blades still shaped for water that no longer exists. The nets still hang in the boat, waiting for a catch that will never come, in a sea that has vanished. Dozens of ships lie scattered across the seabed, a fleet that no longer floats, but rests on sand and salt. The anchor still lies where it was dropped, a final hold on a seabed that turned to dust. Over decades, the sea withdrew, leaving its ships stranded miles from the water, a disaster written in mud and salt. Even the fish remain, their bodies preserved by salt, a final evidence of the sea that once teemed with life. Satellite images reveal the full scale of the retreat, one of the most dramatic environmental changes of the modern era. Once a busy fishing port, the harbor is now a ghost of its former self, its cranes and docks standing useless over dry land. The Aral Sea's ghost ships remain, not as a mystery of ancient times, but as a warning of how quickly the world can change.
In 2018, a farmer's potato field in southeastern Norway hid a secret beneath its green rose, a Viking ship.
The field gave no hint of what lay beneath, a ship buried with its owner in the old pagan custom, sealed under soil and time. Ground-penetrating radar was used to scan the field, revealing a ghostly shape hidden just below the surface. The scan revealed the outline of a ship 20 meters long, with its rivets still lying in rows beneath the soil. From above, the ship's position is marked across the field, a phantom vessel at rest under the potatoes. Iron rivets, still in their original rows, once held the ship's planks together, and they now mark the hull's shape in the soil.
The excavation revealed the ship's negative imprint, dark organic soil where the wooden hull had decayed, still holding the vessel's shape.
Once a proud Viking vessel, the Gjellestad ship now rests in soil, its final voyage ended beneath a quiet field. For over 1,000 years, the ship lay hidden under the changing seasons, forgotten by all but the soil that held it. Beneath the silent field, the ship still waits, a secret kept by the earth for 1,000 years, and now only beginning to be told.
In a small volcanic lake near Rome, two of the most luxurious ships ever built lay hidden beneath the water for nearly 2,000 years.
The Nemi Ships were not simple boats, but floating palaces, with marble floors, heating systems, and running water. When the lake was drained, the ships emerged from the mud, their hulls still intact after 2 millennia underwater. Lead pipes stamped with the emperor's name carried water through the ship, part of a plumbing system that would not be reinvented for 1,500 years. In the early 20th century, the lake was drained, and the two ships rose from the water like ghosts returning to the light. The ships were over 70 meters long, floating platforms of luxury, the largest vessels of their time ever recovered from a lake. Marble and mosaic floors covered the decks, turning the ships into floating villas, complete with statues, fountains, and baths. Inside, the ships housed bilge pumps, heated floors, and freshwater tanks, a level of comfort and technology unmatched for centuries. The Nemi ships were destroyed by fire in 1944, but their legend remains, a testament to Roman engineering and imperial excess.
In the center of Marseille, one of France's oldest cities, construction workers uncovered a Roman ship buried beneath a parking lot.
Amphorae, the storage jars of the ancient Mediterranean, were found scattered around the hull, still holding the residue of wine and olive oil.
The ship lay 6 meters below street level, sealed beneath centuries of construction, its hull still recognizable after 2,000 years.
The wood survived because it was sealed in waterlogged mud, preserving the iron nails and even the caulking between the planks. Massalia was a Greek colony before it became Marseille, and this ship once entered its harbor, carrying cargo from across the Mediterranean. Over centuries, the harbor silted up, the city rose, and the ship was buried deeper and deeper, forgotten by the world above. From above, the ship's outline cuts across the parking lot, a ghost from the ancient harbor breaking through the modern surface. Bronze coins and nails found with the ship help date its last voyage and reveal the trade that once flowed through Massalia. The ship sits beneath a city's worth of history, each layer above it a chapter in Marseille's long transformation.
The Roman ship of Marseille is now preserved, but it remained a reminder that beneath the streets of old cities, Ancient harbors still sleep.
6 shipwrecks, 6 different lands, 6 different centuries, all found by accident. On the surface, these places share nothing, each one a different face of the earth, hiding its own silent secret beneath. Gold, wood, iron, bronze, lead, and clay, each material tells a different story, but together they point to water has a way of leaving, and when it does, it often takes a secret with it, hiding ships where no one thinks to look. Each ship lies at a different depth, under a different layer of earth, but all were hidden by the same process. From space, the sites look empty, but beneath each one, the outline of a ship still presses against the soil. In the dark of memory, 6 ships float side by side, each one a different answer to the same. Old charts show the routes these ships once followed, but none show the place where they finally came to rest. Today, these places look ordinary again, but the ships remain beneath them, waiting for the next person to dig. Rivers change their course, and when they do, they leave behind old channels, sand, and sometimes the ships that once sailed them. When a river abandons its course, the old channel becomes a trap, catching whatever was left behind and slowly burying it under silt. Silt is patient. Grain by grain, it covers wood, iron, and gold, sealing them away from the air and the light. Coastlines are never still. They advance and retreat, and in their movement, they can swallow entire ships, leaving them far inland. The layers around a buried ship are like pages in a book, each band of sand or clay a chapter in the story of its burial. A dry riverbed may look empty, but it is often a graveyard of lost journeys, holding whatever the water abandoned long ago.
Wind-blown sand works like water, flowing over obstacles and filling every hollow, until even a large ship becomes a smooth dune.
The same water that carries ships also carries the sediment that buries them, a slow, endless cycle of transportation and burial. Sometimes the earth reveals a secret for a moment, then takes it back, as if time itself is uncertain whether to hide or show. The twist is that water, the great highway of ancient ships, is also the force that buried them, hiding them in the one place no one thought to look. A wooden pulley block, worn smooth by ropes and salt, speaks of the ship's rigging and the daily work of the crew. A bronze ship's bell still rests in the sand, its surface weathered but its voice silent for centuries. A simple oil lamp, its clay still blackened by smoke, recalls the dark nights below deck on a long sea voyage. Rope fibers, once strong enough to hold sails against Atlantic winds, now lie brittle and frayed, their strength long gone. The staves of a barrel, still bound by rusted iron, once held water or wine for the long journey. A small knife with a bone handle, its blade eaten by rust, was once a tool of daily life aboard the ship.
Tree rings in the ship's timber reveal when and where the trees were felled, giving scientists a precise date for the wood.
A piece of pitch, still bearing the faint impression of a worker's hand, preserves a human touch from centuries ago.
Modern photogrammetry builds a digital model of the wreck, capturing every timber and nail without disturbing the site.
Chemical analysis of the wood reveals salt from the sea and minerals from the soil, tracing the ship's journey from ocean to desert.
The first explanation is sea level change. As the sea retreated or the land rose, old harbors became dry ground and ships were left stranded.
Rivers carry sediment to the sea, and where deltas grow, coastlines advance, burying whatever once floated near the old shore.
Tectonic forces can lift entire coastlines, raising old harbors and leaving ships high above the water.
In deserts, wind moves sand grain by grain, and over centuries, even a large ship can be buried under migrating dunes. When a lake or inland sea shrinks, the bottom becomes land, and anything left on it, including ships, is exposed to the sky. Rivers can suddenly change course, leaving old channels to fill with mud and vegetation, trapping ships in forgotten oxbows. Along the Namibian coast, strong winds push dunes inland, and the same process that buried the Bom Jesus continues today. The The layers above a ship are a record of its burial. Sand from wind, silt from floods, and rubble from human. Sea level has never been constant. As it rose and fell, coastlines moved, and ships found themselves on dry land or underwater. The scientific explanation is not one single force, but a combination of water, wind, and time. The 6 ships we have seen are only a small part of a much larger pattern. Across the world, shipwrecks and ancient old maps and records often mark lost vessels and abandoned harbors, but many more were never recorded at all. Beneath our feet, the earth is full of hidden ships, some under cities, some under fields, some under deserts. As cities grow, they bury older landscapes, sealing ancient ships under concrete and asphalt, where only chance construction can find them. Satellite mapping of ancient shorelines reveals that many ships now far inland once lay near water, along coasts that no longer exist. Over thousands of years, sea levels have risen and fallen, moving shorelines and leaving ships stranded on land or drowned under the sea. Every construction site, every eroded riverbank, every plowed field can reveal a small piece of the hidden past, often without anyone noticing. In some regions, excavations have uncovered fleets of ancient ships, proving that accidental finds are only the tip of the iceberg. Modern remote sensing methods can reveal hidden ships before excavation, turning accidental discoveries into planned searches. The bigger picture is this. Beneath the surface of our world, the past is still there, vast and mostly hidden, waiting to be found.
Sonar scans of the seafloor reveal countless shapes that could be shipwrecks, but most have never been seen by human eyes.
Many ships left logs that are now illegible, their names, routes, and fates lost to water, time, and decay. In the desert, the wind can uncover a ship for a moment, then bury it again, as if the earth is not ready to share its secret. Estimates suggest millions of shipwrecks may lie undiscovered, hidden in deserts, under cities, and deep beneath the sea. Even when a ship is found, its name is often lost, the carved letters too worn to read, leaving the vessel anonymous. Sometimes, in the fog, a ship appears for a moment, then vanishes, leaving only the question of whether it was ever there. In some places, only a dark stain in the soil remains, the wood long gone, but the ship's shape still pressed into the earth. Remote sensing reveals hundreds of anomalies in unexcavated regions, each one potentially a ship, but most will never be checked.
For every ship that has been found, there are thousands of square kilometers of similar terrain, each one a possible hiding place.
The remaining mystery is not only what lies beneath our feet, but how much of our past we have already forgotten. In the future, autonomous drones will scan vast deserts, mapping hidden shipwrecks beneath the sand without ever touching the ground. LiDAR can see through vegetation and map the shape of a buried hull by measuring millions of reflected light points.
Ground-penetrating radar sends pulses into the earth, and the echoes it returns can reveal the shape of a ship without disturbing the surface.
A constellation of radar satellites could soon scan the entire Earth, detecting buried objects in deserts, forests, and even under shallow water.
Machine learning algorithms will be trained on known shipwrecks, allowing them to identify potential finds in satellite and drone imagery automatically. Underwater robots will continue to explore the seafloor, finding wrecks in the deep ocean that have never been seen. Magnetometers can detect the iron nails and fittings of a buried ship, even when the wood has completely decayed. Future archaeologists will use virtual reality to reconstruct ships from fragments, bringing them back to life without ever lifting them from the ground. Swarms of small robots could one day search deserts and fields in coordinated grids, covering vast areas far faster than any human team. The future of discovery is not a single breakthrough, but a new era of seeing, where the hidden world beneath our feet is finally brought to light. We began with a single gold coin in the sand, and we end with the same meeting of sea and desert that hid it for 5 centuries. Each ship we have seen is a survivor of time, its wood and metal still holding the shape of a voyage that ended far from the water. 6 stories, 6 ships, 6 places where the earth gave back a secret, only to hold countless others still. Some ships rest under the sea, others under the sand, and some beneath our cities. The water that carried them never truly lets them go. The sun sets on these wrecks as it did on the days they were lost. and still the sand and sea keep their watch. In the end, the desert reclaims what it reveals, hiding its treasures again until the next chance brings them back. The Nile shifted, the sea retreated, the lakes dried, and the earth moved. But the ships remained, waiting. The earth gives, and the earth takes away. And in that slow cycle, the past is both hidden and revealed. The ships are gone, but their stories remain, written in sand, wood, and water, and in the questions they leave behind.